Truth Frequency Radio Network.
TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning, TFR.
Push the button.
Yeah, won't let me. I don't know what to tell you. Good luck with that. The go live button is still grayed out. Won't let me push a button. Doesn't give me a button to push.
Interesting. What?
Yeah. I'll try again, but I think I probably just have to restart the whole. Yeah. Let's try this. Yep. No button. Cool stuff.
No button.
No button.
No button. No button. No button. No button. No button. No button.
You button hooked me. I didn't know you were gonna button hook me. No? Nobody?
No.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, but it's not coming to me.
The GOAT on Adam Sandler's CD. If you don't know it, you probably won't.
Don't know it.
I still have that CD. That's one of my little brother got me that CD like a few years ago for Christmas because I was telling him about it.
No, they're all gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, Toll Booth Willie, the beating of a high school janitor.
Mop, all day long. Mop, while I sing my song.
Josh, definitely listen to the CD.
Gonna wax that floor, gonna make it shine. Gonna take off the spray with turpentine.
Oh, the dumb things I used to listen to.
So my first remembrance of Adam Sandler is as a teenage comic almost, and he was doing a routine stand-up, and he was doing a routine about Elvis living in his refrigerator. Nobody? Come on,
Nope.
Nobody remembers that routine, Elvis living in his refrigerator? Yeah, it was pretty nice. And then he kind of, this was in the early days of the Comedy Channel, before it became Comedy Central. And they would have these little things between shows where they would just show like 2 or 3 seconds or 4 or 5 minutes or just the best bit of a routine from somebody's stand-up. And so that's how I first found him. And then he would be like a guest on some of the sit-down. I think it was Alan Havey that hosted like Comedians on the Couch type thing. And just got into his twisted humor early, and then had gotten sick of TV and cable right after he got on Saturday Night Live, and I had just kind of unplugged from that machine for a while during his rise to getting CDs out, and then suddenly I came back to things, and he had like weird Christmas songs, and he was blowing up. So I just missed that big. Everybody was into him phase because I was just disconnected from things, but I dug him a lot early on, and then the movies got a little long in the tooth for me, and I just kind of moved on.
Yeah, I think the first Sandler I ever saw was the Hanukkah song. And I just thought
Christmas.
It was.
I knew what I meant.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny that.
It was great. It was epic.
And then my buddy went and bought the CD, and we'd sit and listen to it. We were into the Jerky Boys, too, right before that. The prank call guys.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay, yeah. And we used to call all kinds of people trying to be like the Jerky Boys. Just random numbers and stuff like that. We were dumb. But then we found Adam Sandler and that CD, and yeah, oh man, we listened to that so many times. Oh, I got so many memories flooding back in. Hearing all these different, the Mop song, man. I had a buddy who used to sing that all day long. It was so annoying. Well, so how was the weekend, gentlemen? Josh, did you have a good weekend?
I did. It was uneventful. Got the grass cut. Got gutters cleaned. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah, we cooked out, I think, Saturday. Yeah, and I'll say that it was just like me and Shell here chilling, and decided instead of firing up the stove, we'd fire up the grill. And you're going to hear a lot of me getting a little frustrated. I'm sorry this morning. Or the nanny kitty has gone from being psycho mama to being back in psycho heat, knocking stuff off the table. So excuse me if I get verbose with her. She's right now pushing against the microphone saying, hey, see? Oh, wait, I forgot.
Pretty girl. You want to say hi?
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I missed it. What'd you say?
Oh, I forget.
Yeah. But that was about it for the weekend, I guess. Just mostly chilling. We did start binge watching Strange Angel just because we forgot about it. Like when it was on, we didn't have the actual channel it came on or whatever it streamed on. And then when they first put it on a buy a streamer or whatever, we didn't buy that one. We got a different one. So it was just been in my back burner. And then suddenly she was like, you know about this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I know about it. I just didn't know we had access to it on this particular streaming service. So she was like, well, I'll watch it if you want to. I'm like, okay, you better hold on. And every few minutes I'd go, okay, so this is Crowley. Okay, so this is where all the stars get the one eye. Okay, so this is where, and she was just like, oh my God, this is so crazy. And these are the people from NASA. I'm like, at the beginning of it all, yeah. We're on about probably 3 from the end, so I don't see how they're going to wrap it up. They must have kind of quit. I guess the show didn't get real big or something. I'm getting the sense I'm not going to see the end of the story with the few episodes we have left. So, but yeah, that was our watch for the weekend, I guess.
What's worse is they both wrap it up and prime it for an awesome next season that never occurs.
That never showed up. Yeah, that's what I kind of got the impression. Just because there's 2 now, and it's been a while that it's been out. So
you're gonna hit that last scene. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
I figured as much. Yeah. Yeah. I remember you talking about it, Josh, back when it was on, and I should watch it and all that, but we just didn't have that particular channel at the time. So, but yeah, it's definitely been interesting catching up.
You ever seen the movie The Last Mimsy?
Oh yeah, excellent.
One of my favorites.
Top.
I never even heard of it until last night.
I could have sworn
Candy showed it to me.
You've heard me recommend it to John Savage on multiple occasions.
Yeah, but I never went and watched it. Man, that was a great movie.
It's fucking awesome, isn't it?
Phenomenal. I was so tired last night when we started it. I was like, all right, I'll watch it, but I'm probably going to fall asleep. And yeah, that didn't happen at all. That movie was great.
Come on. You got to get out.
And the hook at the end, when you figure out what Mimsy is and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. Just mind blown. Yeah, great movie. If you've never seen it, it'd be a good movie for children, even.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
The Last Mimsy.
Yeah, just the way the boy would use the humming and the vibrations and the frequencies to talk to and control the spiders and bugs.
Yeah, very cool. And that little girl did excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Just great acting by both the children. It's hard. It's got to be to find good children actors like that and to get them. I mean, they're children, But yeah, they both did a phenomenal job. That's what we were talking about. That's what brought it up about how it's certain children actors. We were talking about the Star Wars movies, the part 1, 2, and 3. The later ones, and how horrible the acting was. Little Anakin, the teenage Anakin, and the teenage Padawan or whatever her name was horrible acting. And she became an all right actor later on in her career, but I mean, these were the Star Wars movies. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about those. I know Walt's favorite character, Jar Jar Binks. If he wasn't in it, he would have hated him.
That's the only thing got me through was Jar Jar.
I'll never figure out why the hell M. Night Shyamalan directed The Happening the way that he did. If he gave Valium to the entire cast or what it was, but it was just like everybody was just bad. I mean, Mark Wahlberg is right, not necessarily known for his acting. More maybe for Calvin Klein or Marky Mark. But even he can usually pull off a decent role. On occasion, he's very niche, but he can do what he does. Science teacher is not Mark Wahlberg niche.
Yeah.
But I loved the story and I loved the concept. But the movie was so bad because of their acting, which I can only blame on the director.
Yeah.
John Leguizamo, I think, was maybe the only semi-believable character, if that says anything.
I couldn't finish it. I was excited for it to come out. I kind of knew what it was going to be about because I had read a few things going into the production of it. And yeah, didn't happen for me. I could not make it through the movie enough to get to the very interesting twist part. So, yeah, I think the last M. Night I enjoyed was probably The Lady in the Water.
I don't even think I saw The Happening. The last one I saw with them was Glass, or that trilogy that he made.
Yeah, I watched the trilogy.
Unbreakable, Split, and Glass, I think.
There might have even been one more after that I've seen, possibly. But I think there's a few that I haven't. But the last
I rewatched.
one, go ahead.
Signs.
That's what I want. I want to go back and rewatch his first five or six.
Yeah, I'm seeing Travis in chat saying Lady in the Water was a stinker too. I was not a super fan of it until I was told I should go back and watch it again by Josh with a different point of view, and I did and enjoyed it a lot better than I did the first time I watched it. I can't remember now why that point of view was different or what that point of view was, but I do remember Josh re-recommending it. And I said, maybe I should go check this out again. And I did. But I don't remember why it was different the second time around.
It takes too long. It definitely takes a more critical eye. If you've seen it and didn't like it, watch on YouTube. Watch us a breakdown. Get in there and see what it is. There are so many callbacks and so many references. I mean, just the whole character of the movie critic that M. Night just crucifies in that movie just cracks me up. But again, his total use of all sorts of stuff, but color and the whole, considering the thing was based on his ongoing bedtime story for his children. Like he'd put his kids to bed and they'd pick up this little story that they were creating on the fly. And it was the story of the lady in the water. And this kid said, "You should make a movie." And he said, "Fuck it, I'm M. Night Shyamalan. I should make a movie." And he did. And that movie was Lady in the Water. Probably my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie is Lady in the Water. But I know there's a lot of people that don't like
and
it.
all these things you're saying now are why I went back to revisit it back when you first were saying these things. Because my opinion of it was definitely around what Travis's were. It stunk. But yeah, new eyes always help sometimes. Well, not always, sometimes. And then, we all have changed our view about quite a bit in the world, probably since we first saw some. Yeah, there we go. So people talked about that too in chat. Seeing it with the open eyes, or at least more pried open, or propped open with toothpicks, whatever you're doing right now, it helps. It does help.
Yeah, Nemo found his copy of Braveheart. Made me want to watch it again. I told Cammie that I know when to tell her to close her eyes so we can watch it.
Right.
I've seen the
It's a
movie.
handful.
Yeah, at least 40 times, probably all the way through, and probably, like, no joke, at least 70, 80 times the speech he gives right before the first battle. I had the VHS tapes, the dual, because it was so long.
Mhm.
It had 2 VHS tapes. And my first one, I used to fast forward through a lot to get to that part. And all the tape was all messed up. The first half hour, 40 minutes, whatever it took. I think it was like 44 minutes to get to that part. But yeah, from fast forwarding and rewinding that, the tape just got destroyed right there. I did it so many times. Oh, he found the original motion picture soundtrack. Man, I love the music, and that's one thing I've been noticing a lot lately. If you turn the music off on movies, they're not nearly as emotional. And like scary movies are funny if you turn off the music. Like Freddy and Jason, if you get rid of that suspense and all that, it's not scary at all. It changes everything in the movie. It's amazing what music does to us while we're watching a movie. Yeah, I wonder if you could do that. Find movies and take the audio, like the music tracks, out and see how much it changes them. Like,
there was some movie back in the day that from the time it came out at the theaters to the time it hit sets, something had changed in the soundtrack. I can't remember now. I'm trying to get it in my head what it was, but it definitely was something dramatically changing to the way the story fell. Oh, maybe it was maybe it was the we were talking about Lawnmower Man not too many days ago. That might have been what it was. Because, man, the two different versions of the director's cut versus the theatrical cut were just totally different movies. I don't know, something like that, though, to where the remake or the director's cut had different music choices, or I don't know. But definitely it can change. I mean, I've seen where people take the music, the trailer, and remix it with different music and different voiceover, and they turn, horror movies into comedies, or thrillers into rom-coms, or whatever. So yeah, it's crazy what music can do with these things, or lack of.
That one Mel Gibson movie, I think it's called Get Carter or Payback, maybe.
I don't know now.
Payback was Mel Gibson. Get Carter, I think, was Denzel.
Okay, so Payback with. Now there's a director's cut in Payback.
Maybe Coach Carter was Denzel. I forget.
Yeah, there's a movie where Mel Gibson plays a guy named Carter, and it's all about getting his money back that his partner. This happens right at the beginning, Walter. And his money,
La 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 la.
But it's a great movie, and I had seen the movie released in the theaters like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. So I laid down to watch it. I don't know, 5-6 months ago. It was sometime in the winter last year, fall, something like that. And there's a director's cut. Had no idea, didn't notice it. But I mean, everything is the exact same up to a certain point, and then everything changes. Like characters change even. It was insane. He goes to call this guy, I thought, and ended up being a woman. And then, yeah, I thought I was Mandela, like hardcore Mandela. Payback. Thank you, Big Pine. Arr. Payback by Mel Gibson. But there is a director's cut on that. I thought I was going insane. As soon as it happened in the movie, I'm laying there in bed. I was like, what? What's going on? I think I even sent something to Stavely about it. Because whenever I see something that I think I might be Mandela or something's really weird, I always send it to Brian. Because he'll check it out and verify it. And I think he even told me, no, it's a director's cut. Someone's told me this one before. But yeah, you got to watch that because sometimes they'll do that. Like, they will really, really change a movie to where it's up to a certain point. It'll be like, okay, I've seen this. And then once it gets past that, you're like, what? What is going on? Payback is a feckin' great movie. Nemo. Oh. So we got well, I know there's another guy sitting around we haven't talked to yet. Talked to him a little bit before the show, but Andrew B., how was your weekend, man?
Very, very busy.
Well, busy's good. Idle's hands are the devil's playground, right?
I agree. And spoiler alert to anyone that's never seen a movie, people die in movies.
Get out of here.
I heard a midget committed suicide in Wizard of Oz.
Yep, I've heard that.
I've heard that, and I've looked it up, and I can't find anything definitive about it. I've seen the picture of it, but is it real?
There's a whole thing about it that I really have dug deep into. There is footage that you can find and see in a very terribly reproduced way. And something definitely is occurring in the background of the scene. And there's another story circulating that what you're seeing is an actual, not an ostrich, not a swan, some big bird like that, some big bird doing its thing in the background scene, like moving its wings or jumping off of a branch or whatever is going on. And that's what everybody mistook for this suicide on film. Because how would they let that ever get out? How would it ever get through the cut? And how would it ever get through? Mistakes get through all the time. There are continuity errors in probably every movie you enjoy that if you really sit down and pay attention, you'll catch reflections, people in scenes that shouldn't be there, hiding behind curtains, all kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just like Zack was saying with Braveheart, there was a scene in one of the battle scenes where there was like a truck in the background or something like that. You can see.
Right.
And they messed up.
Absolutely. It happens all the time. I mean, it's just a fact. So it could very well be that. I don't know.
And Braveheart, by the way, is one of my favorite movies ever made. It is very awesome.
Sorry, hang on. I got a mess.
No problem. I'm only chiming in today because I had a couple things. Well, one for each of you. And we're coming up on the break, and
yeah, we'll get to that when we get back.
4 or 5 minutes or so. But
yeah,
I'm not trying to hijack the stream by any means at all. So
We only got about 2 minutes, so yeah, we'll wait till we get
All
back.
right, I got the mess cleaned up, and now I've lost my train of thought completely because of the drop. So we were talking about something, and I had it, and then I got off because of the dropping. Damn it! I'm sorry. I
We're
lost
talking about Braveheart and how movies
No, it
can.
was something before.
Every movie has mistakes in it.
Right, that was it. Mistakes, but why? Damn it! Come on, help me get back. The cat has just completely made a mess. That
We were doing Wizard of Oz and how you
Wizard
can't.
of Oz, the thing. That was it. The bird. Okay, so what they say now is there's a group of people out there who say that it actually happened. It actually got through in the footage, but once it got out in the public domain and got seen and found, they took the movie off the shelves, recut it with a bird in that scene allegedly, and that's what you're now seeing. I don't know. I don't know. This one to me reads just like one of those urban legends more than anything else, that the scene just happened to look that way and they made this thing up because of the history of what was going on during that time with the little people that were playing those pots.
So that's a really old photo, right? Obviously. So can that be passed through like a photo forensic kind of thing and determine?
Well,
I don't know.
it depends. If you
got?
take,
Oh, you put one here. Okay, I got it.
like if you have something that's photoshopped and then take another picture of that,
No, I don't see it.
then the whole photo forensic kind of goes out the window.
Oh
as
yeah,
far
yeah.
as,
Like
you know,
like NASA.
Yeah. But I don't know. I know they've been doing photo forensics for a long.
Look at that. That's break music, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around. We've got more of the Ironworks coming up right after this brief interlude. Chris Gio pays the bills. I go freshen my coffee. You stick around. We'll be right back.
Blame. I engaged in this the big share of my life until I met Mr. Show. I used to blame my negative relatives. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. I used to blame prices. I said, it costs too much. Show said, no, let's cover the real problem. You can't afford it. I thought, wow, I never looked at it like that before. Shope said, sir, you must intellectually understand it's not it that's your problem. It's you that's your problem. It's not out there that's the problem. Out there is like it's been for 6,000 years. You can't cure that. But what you can cure is errors in judgment, errors in attitude, errors in activity, errors in misjudging results. I found that the errors were within. But see, he had to go after me on that point.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Ann, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
True initiation is an inward journey. It's a spiritual path that is totally inward. It has nothing to do with anything external to you.
I want to determine if the grand architect is indeed what I believe it to be, which is the artificial intelligence.
The initiatory path is one of self-discovery and self-revealing. It's not a journey that someone can hold your hand through.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you through the steps of initiation. Remember, you our divinity.
Step Beyond the Veil with Chris and Sherry Gio. Fridays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR. Frequency Radio.
This is Iron Mike Tyson, and you're listening to Iron Realm Media.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. You're listening to Iron Realm Media. I listen all the time, and it's the best truth show out there. Forget about the mainstream lying. Get your weekly dose of iron. Realm, that is. Stay woke, folks.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
It is Tuesday, and welcome back to the Ironworx right here on True Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. All my levels are set weird. I don't know. It's like somebody came in and just started playing with the knobs. Please forgive me. Welcome back. Sorry.
Knob turners and button pushers. Oh, man.
Came in.
You know, when I was a child, I used to do that stuff all the time. And I got my paybacks, my comeuppance. My nephew, well, my cousin's child, I called him my nephew. He called me Uncle Zack, but he was my cousin. He was like 5 years old, and my uncle had gotten him his first guitar. And this is when I was really into guitar, but not even close to being good when I got, okay at it. It was very early in my guitar learning days. And it took me forever to tune a guitar, especially if I didn't have my tuner. Remember those days, Walt? Can't find the tuner and the guitar is just not doing what you want it to do.
Oh, yeah.
So I spent like an hour and a half, and I finally got it tuned. And I go and I give it to him, and he strums it one time, and then he grabs those little knobs and just starts turning them. What are these? Bloop, 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 bloop. Just starts turning all. I was like, oh, no, my God. But yeah, turning knobs, pushing buttons. Yep.
So who's the best guitar player in history, in your opinion?
That's a hard question there. Oh man.
Hendrix?
I mean,
maybe decade. Yeah, give me a decade, because all time, that's hard, man. That's a hard one.
And there's different
genres
types of guitar playing, right?
Yeah.
There's great electric guitars. There's great acoustic guitars. There's phenomenal classical guitarists. There's extraordinary bass players. I mean, so I'm really well out of even trying to consider narrowing that number down to any considerable of like number one. And yeah.
Don
my
McLean
tastes are much different than a lot of people's.
On a classical, Don McLean, Vincent, like written in another language. Almost. I don't know. Now playing and composing, I don't know. It depends. Yeah, they have to be way more broken down than that.
And there's lots of different reasons that I like certain other guitar players and the different, I don't know. There's some great players out there that are completely unknown that most people wouldn't even have a clue who they are even. There's a guy out there right now named Andy Timmons who recently literally made me cry with his playing.
Wow.
And yet he is, not many people that's not a guitar player would even know who Andy Timmons is. So he's phenomenal. He's a great player. Is he in my top 10? Not even. But he definitely can play the hell out of the guitar and made me cry. So I don't know. It's different for different reasons. Ace Frehley is still in my top 5 because he was an early influence. Is he a phenomenal guitar player? Not exceptionally. He did things at the time that people weren't doing. And he was in a cool band that made his guitar fly and explode, so that helped. But is he a technically proficient guy? Not in the least. But there are hundreds of guitarists who, cite him as their influence and wear him on their tattoos and all this. So, I mean, it's a huge question.
Yeah, that's like
influential
asking,
guitarists. Yeah, they're out there.
Who's the best boxer? That's like asking who's the best boxer when there's all these different weight classes, all these different styles of fighting, or who's the greatest NBA player of all time? You can't do it because the guys back in the 60s, there's so many people from the 70s that went and I don't want to say steal, but were influenced by those gentlemen. So is it really the person in the 70s that did it themselves, or were they influenced by this other person and that brought that out of them? It's so hard of a question to ask the greatest of really anything of all time. It needs to be narrowed down to like more of a genre type thing. Maybe, okay, greatest guitarist alive. Mainstream guitarist, Walter. Greatest mainstream guitarist still alive.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to bring up something
Mark Tremonti. I'm sorry. It's just, I know y'all are so sick of hearing me talk about Mark Tremonti, but he can write songs that bring emotions up in me in a way I can't even explain. He has phenomenal technical ability. Like, he is a beast. Rhythmically, his right hand rivals that of James Hetfield. His fucking legato technique, I'm still working on that 8 years later, trying to get it down. It's phenomenal. His singing, he can sing backup. He can write songs and sing them. His own band, Tremonti, he does amazing music in. He's got just like crazy range vocally. He can sing Sinatra to the point that Sinatra's boys are backing him on tour. He's, to me, one of the most phenomenal, hardworking guys out there. He's gone from being a big strummy chord guy in Creed, one of the best-selling bands. I don't care whether you liked them or not. I wasn't a huge fan, but they definitely did things in the industry and had great songs that everybody dug. And then he took that and like changed his whole style, took lessons after having the biggest band in the 90s. And
and Walt, you just said Sinatra, but you reminded me of Santana, who's also.
Oh yeah, I love Carlos.
Oh yeah. He's
Love me
great.
some Carlos.
You know Carlos
In fact, I was
Santana?
listening to Winning just 2 days ago on my going through trying to find some songs for the show. I was like, that's a great song. I got it on my list.
This one might blow your mind, Andrew. What's your favorite Santana song?
I don't know. I've listened to almost all of them, so I couldn't name one in particular because they're mostly acoustic.
But did you know that he didn't write Black Magic Woman? Not even the guitar part that he played?
Really?
That is note for note taken from Fleetwood Mac before Stevie Nicks joined the band. They wrote Black Magic Woman and that guitar solo, like note for note. He just did it, with a little spin on it a little bit, kind of they changed the rhythm section, but the solo is like note for note someone else's.
Well, I am terrible at playing any instrument, and I've tried many, so I'm not going to make any claims that I know anything about that kind of stuff. I had an Ibanez 350 with a small little amp, and my friend stole it from me, both my guitar, amp, chords, and everything. So I stopped after that.
I just found the keyboard. I want to find the power supply. I want to learn to play piano. I do. I hear if you can play guitar, it's not that hard to switch over to piano. But I don't know. But they say
I've
since you're used to
struggled
doing
always with it just because of the separation it requires. Same thing with drums. To me, the hands sink when I'm playing my guitar. When I'm trying to play the piano,
they're both doing different things.
They're doing two different worlds, and it just gets.
Rubbing your belly.
I sat down and like learned the intro to "Don't Stop Believing" because I wanted to learn it, and I sat down and learned the intro to Mr. Crowley and things like that. That had a part that definitely required two hands, and I would sit down and work it out. But to sit down and just start playing, that's not ever going to happen. It's just not a skill set that I flow with like I do with guitar.
Anyway. And what's the guy from Metallica? Was it Hetfield?
James Hetfield's the lead singer and most rhythm guitarists, but he does play solos quite often actually in their band. Their lead guitarist is a gentleman named Kirk Hammett, who's not really that
the guy
great
that
of a
did
guitar player.
The song Orion in Metallica.
So that was written by the bass player Cliff Burton, and it was based around his bass riff that he actually wrote on a Leslie organ of all things. So you got to get him, sweetie. Yeah. Hey.
Well, I hear the kitties, and that's one of the things I was going to try and bring up a little bit today because I love cats. I think they're extraordinary animals. And Walt, I saw some of the stuff you were posting in Telegram with those beautiful, wonderful kittens that you have.
Yeah, those some sweeties.
And there's a lot of stuff about cats that a lot of people are not really aware that they essentially have we as humans have like 5 senses, but cats essentially have another sense. And this is directly off of Purina.
They're empaths.
Yeah, they can sense things, sort of like dogs can, like a sense of fear in a sense. The humans cannot really.
I think most animals can, and I think a lot of humans can as well, but they don't know what's going on. Cammie and I have been talking about this a lot lately, about healers and why they're so good at healing is because a lot of them are empaths and they feel what you're feeling. So if you're not feeling good, they're going to try to make you feel better. And in return, that makes them feel better. That's why there's people out there that love helping others, because then that other person feels good and then they feel good from that. And it's this, like you said, it's this other sense that, and just like everything, some people have great vision, some people are blind. Well, some people are great at feeling others' emotions and some people aren't. But yeah, this is definitely a thing, Andrew, in my opinion. This sense of, it's almost like a magnetic electric field, something or other, you just know. And a lot of it has to do with your ability to read other people's emotions through their body language.
Well, is it really an opinion when there's enough evidence to support that it's not an opinion?
Well, I don't know if it's scientifically, proven, blah, blah, blah. That's one of my disclaimers. I always say in my opinion or ask it as a question. That's one of the flat earth things I've learned. I don't make too many statements unless I know. You know what I mean? But no, I believe, 100% that this is a sense that we all have, but it's like everything else. You have to tune it and use it or else you lose it. And just looking at someone, their face, a lot of people, they can just tell if something's wrong or right, even if they don't know the person. There's little microaggressions and things like that that you put off without even knowing it. And there's people out there that are really good at reading other people. They say your body language is like 75% of communication when you're looking at someone face to face. You know how so much can get lost in translation and text? Taken out of context, this and that. Oh, I was joking. Or, this or that. And it's because you don't get to see their face while they're saying these things. And that's where that whole other part of the process comes in of picking up information from someone. Yeah, you can say something to somebody and they can take it in a totally wrong way, but when you're face to face, it's a lot harder to do that.
Yeah, but what it goes back into, and the reason I was bringing this up was in the Telegram photo that Walt had shared was the exact same thing that I experienced when I had a young, mother cat that had kittens, and they would do the exact same thing they were doing to Walt. They were crawling up on my shoulders and falling asleep.
Yeah.
And that is an amazing thing to experience.
Yeah. Yeah, the trust and the just comfort. And I didn't get up out of that spot for probably an hour and a half, just sitting there letting them
you
sleep.
probably didn't want to.
I didn't want to. I needed to a couple different times, like to get something to drink, and then the restroom started hitting me, and it was like, all right. And I started kind of petting him real soft and trying to ease him awake so I could get up and go to the restroom. So it was wonderful. And we're in a conundrum because I know you guys, have heard this. I have 7 cats now, and I mean, I love cats, but that never was the plan. We wanted 1. Now that was 4. Now we have 7. Right, I'm turning into the crazy cat lady. So it's work. I love them, but it's just like last night when it was litter box time. They're all fully in the litter box now, no doubt. All of them are using it. There's no hidden spots anymore. I got it all.
3 is not fun to clean up after. I can't even imagine 7.
Yeah. So it's a handful. So we're in that point now of, okay, if we're gonna let people actually take a cat or 2, then this is the point that we need to do it, because I'm definitely getting way too attached.
Yeah.
To all of them. At first it was just the one you saw sleeping on me. Her name is Ripley. That's my little sweetie. But, the boy, Bender, he's always coming to see me as soon as I get up. And so I just have to get rid of some boy. And saying that's what crazy cat ladies say too, Walt. I know. But hey, I'm trying.
And I just saw Austin Melodome in chat saying he's allergic to cats, and so was I when I was younger. And then my aunt told me, just be around them enough and you'll build up a tolerance. And I am no longer allergic to cats. So
what's interesting about that, Andrew, in my life, I had cats growing up. Like my family, we had cats. I remember cats until my mid to late teens being at every house we lived in or at. And they would be in the house with us. They stayed outside mostly, but they would come in, they would come out, they would be on us. And it was probably 25 years before I had another pet after that. And it was then I had a blue heeler. And in my late 20s, that's when I got Spunky, right? Yeah. And so up until that point, anytime I would go to somebody's house that had an animal, like anything, a dog, a cat, I would just go into a horrible allergy attack. My eyes would swell up, nose would just, run. It was horrible. And I wanted to have an animal. And so we got a puppy, and it was the same thing, sneezing. And it's just your body has to build up the resistance. And I know some people that are suffering with that and think they can never get through it. My brother swears he never got past it in his life. I remember us having cats. I don't remember him being like holed up in a room, isolated from the cats. But to him, in his mind, all through life, he was so allergic that it would put him, in a room hiding from the cats. And I don't remember it that way. So everybody's got different perceptions about, I guess, life. But that building up of the allergy resistance is a very real thing. It's what I had to go through when I was a kid. I had allergy problems so bad as a young kid. I had to go have an allergy test done, which was a horrifying experience. They basically prick your back with this little chuchunk thing to make little pinhole pricks all up and down your back in this like huge grid-like pattern, and then they apply little drops of potential allergens into those little spots
You're
and see
talking
which
about
ones. Yeah, and see which ones you react to. And so I reacted to cat dander, cat saliva, dog dander, dog saliva. Not the hair, it's the things on the hair is what gets you. And yeah, those were two of my biggest reactors. And I had taken allergy shots for those, for different grasses, different trees and things. But it's such a attack on your system trying to do that I had to keep adrenaline in the refrigerator at my house, at my friend's house, at my dad's house, so that if I ever went into an allergy attack that was either too great because of this extra amount of the things I'm actually allergic to being injected, I was taking injections of what I was allergic to build up my resistances to them. It worked, quote unquote, but it still gets me during seasonal time. And if I'm not around dogs, or cats after a long time, they definitely get to me. So it's just a thing. You have to work on it. And if you're wanting to have an animal, you can make it through.
I've heard of a lot of people being allergic to cats, but I've heard of very few people being allergic to dogs. And I think
it's usually the dog's saliva, and they don't realize it. That's usually what it is.
So the other two things I was going to try and bring up today, this morning, I was on with Troubling Tribune the other day and talking to Ruhif when we were discussing a lot of different issues, and it wasn't a debate by any means. It was just a discussion, and I'm going to bring that up. That's going to be more for a Zack and everyone else kind of thing to discuss. But then I also have something for Josh and every other emergency responder. This is going to be more of a, I don't want to bring it up too publicly because I don't want to blow up the conversation too much with it, but I might make that after the stream is over. So we'll see.
Cool. So what you got?
Well, the break is coming up in a little bit here, so.
Yeah, I love Troubling Tribune's channel. One thing I don't watch though, ever, I don't care whose channel it is people like Ruhif, or I'm not going to go naming them, but you know who these people are. At least some of us know who these people are. Ruhif's been around since 2016. He's heard all the explanations. Like, we were talking about this on Glowbuster Sunday. I've talked with a lot of these people. We've been doing this a while. And I'll have a conversation with one of them, explain something to them, they'll agree, and then the very next day I see them on someone else's show arguing the same point that they were arguing against me. even though they now know and admitted to being wrong. Now, not publicly and open, these were back and forth DMs. And they're not genuine people. So there's certain people. Now, if you have a conversation with a Globie that's just a normal person, I love those. I love them. But when you get into having these certain people, I just don't watch. It's just not worth my time because I don't believe that they're ever being genuine.
Oh, I get you on that one, but at least Ruhif will put his real name out there and his face and will be respectful and genuine when it comes to...
He's one of the few that are much more polite and, tolerable, I should say. But I've heard pretty much everything he said 5 times over. I mean, their script doesn't change.
Yeah, and I kind of debated him a little bit, and I've got him to retract a little bit of what he was saying, only because I think I am a little more knowledgeable on some of the stuff. He might be more knowledgeable than me in some things, but it's the fact that...
No, he's very sharp. Very sharp. Yeah. I mean, those are the people that I despise the most, the smart ones that are disingenuous. I mean, if somebody just doesn't know that they're wrong and are stating a case and defending it, I'm all for that. That's me. That's what I do. But once I'm shown that I'm wrong, you admit it and you stop doing that. Then it becomes this thing about ego and stuff like that. And I don't have time for people's egos.
Yeah. And before the break, Oktoberfest.
Nope.
Vegas, baby.
Well, we're breaking.
Yeah, we are. And it will be Vegas. Stick around. That's the second half of the first half of the Ironworks. Just rounding out. We'll be right back on the other side for the first half of the second half. Right after
this is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, a song
lasts forever. Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smart car, smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio. I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19. I flew the wind of God from the state of Washington to the state of Maine to Brownsville, Texas, and the Temple Fork. Today, we speak to this atmosphere. Today, burn this thing. This virus hates heat. You just burn this thing. Burn, burn. I call for a supernatural heat wave straight out of hell. Burn, burn. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19. I blow the wind of God. You don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. You get out of here now. Burn. You don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. You get out of here. Burn this thing. COVID-19. 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 destroyed forever, and you'll never be.
What the fuck, bro?
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
I should have toked up. This is out here in the car. It is.
Need input. Input.
You get the one note, or be flat. Good morning. I'm here.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworks on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworks with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworks and become an Iron Scout.
Well, pitter patter, let's get at her.
Right? I mean, right?
I heard a new one in there, or maybe I'm just getting old. Did you hear that?
I heard something. Josh always remixes it a little bit, it feels like. Shout out, by the way, to Pablo and Diva there on our little promo break. Miss them greatly. I mean, there's lots of missing scouts, definitely, that I wish would come back around. But every time I hear that played, it brings them straight to my heart. So definitely miss and appreciate you guys. Hope you come back around soon. Does anybody keep up with Diva? I know at one point I was getting some things in the chat.
Cammy does.
I think.
Cammy
Okay,
and
good.
Diva, Diva is quite sharp.
Oh, I know. I like I said, her presence is greatly missed in chat for sure. So I definitely
and shout out to Dawn. I see she may be sleeping in a little bit.
Yeah, she's getting a little rest. She's getting a little rest for sure.
I heard a Goonies reference in there that I am not sure if I've heard before, but Josh may be like, yeah, I've played that one before.
Nope, it was a new one with all the music talk. I wanted to throw it in there.
Nice.
We'll be flat.
If you hit the wrong note, we'll all be flat.
We'll all be flat. Someone hit that wrong note. These people need to catch up. Yeah, Liz talks with Diva all the time. She is her bestie. That's awesome. I love you, ladies. Oh,
Nice.
Red.
And I knew Liz was keeping up a bit too. My brain is scattered trying to read and catch up there in chat.
So before we get into Andrew's thing, I just want to mention something to everybody. We've been out in the garden a lot lately. It's looking good. Everything is healthy and happy, and nothing got frosted out this time. And I'm teaching Cammie all the little things. Pull all the flowers off of your peppers at this time. If you transplanted a plant from the store to your house that's already a plant, you change the amount of light it got, most likely. So it may send it into bloom early. So you have to get rid of all those blooms and get it back into its growth stage, because it's now getting more and more light every day, or it may not be, depending on your shade. But you have to keep it growing. There's just a bunch of little tricks of the trade that you learn throughout the years. But Cammie is glowing. When she is out there, she is so happy. She's talking to every plant. She makes it a point to say hi to everybody. And it's helping her a lot through these, it's still rough. But a garden can be a great friend. It's something that you can care for and love, and it will do better when you do this. When you neglect it, you see it. When you love it, you see it. It's just a great way to get out into nature and, just let all that stuff go. All that, the crazy world that we built around us as humans, we have to let that go every once in a while and go back to how, it was intended us to be. I don't believe we were meant to be standing on concrete and living in walls, surrounded, not seeing the sun. The sun is important for all life, and we tend to hide from it a lot of the time indoors. If you can, maybe you don't have a garden, this or that, find a plant somewhere, a tree, and notice it. Watch it grow. It helps. It's some of the best medicine out there. Just give it a try. Okay, rant over. Sorry about that.
Lovely rant. Very lovely. Thank you so much, Liz. I'll see that part. Thank you for that super chat.
Love you, Liz.
And I see you sharing the love there in chat, Andrew. Thank you, sir. Love you, my friend.
Oh yeah, no worries at all. I do have to take a quick hiatus because I have to use the restroom real quick, and then I'll be right back. But I was going to bring up two different subjects, but I don't want to take too long. So I will bring up one at a time. So I'll be right back. Sorry.
It's a lot easier to talk when you're only saying one thing at a time.
It helps. It helps. You have to really get into politics to be able to do that double speak. Go.
You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. You say something once, why say it again? Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est?
What's up, Trav? How you doing?
That's got the kick-ass bass line at the beginning with Tina Weymouth. Boom,
Run
boom,
away.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, dude, great song.
Stop Making Sense, that concert, he starts out without doing an acoustic and he takes out that jam box and he puts it on the stage. Oh my God. David Byrne was a genius.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when you know you have an artist, It's not just a musician or a composer, but an artist. Everything they do is art. Ted Nugent was that way. There's a lot of people that are that way. Prince, the guy dressed art, There's just people out there that were artists in everything they do.
Speaking of artists, have you guys seen the the movie that Willem Dafoe did a couple of years ago about Vincent van Gogh. It's called At Eternity's Gate.
No, and I want to see it. So
Oh my God,
I
it
keep
is an
forgetting it
absolute
exists. Is it? Yeah, I'm putting it on my list again. Yeah, I love Dafoe. He's been one of my favorite
So what's
actors.
funny about that is because Saturday I went out walking around. There was a Flat Earth meetup later in the day, so I went out and did photography at Havre de Grace, and I'm just walking around the neighborhood. I just kept walking and just snapping pictures. And then I would set up, and I would take pictures, and I'd move, and I would just like look around, and then I would see this color, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I would just zoom into it. Like the thing that it's blowing my mind right now, and it has for ever since I started seeing this stuff that I'm seeing. Like I can zoom in on things that you people can't even believe. Right? Here's the line from Tears in the Rain, right? I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Like I can zoom in. Look, check this out. Oh my God, I just remembered this right now. I was going through my footage from that day I'm talking about. And I zoom in on something like 100 yards away. And I'm looking at what I thought I was looking at. And then something moves in the corner on the left, and I look over, and it's a fucking like aphid, like from 100 yards away. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm looking at this freaking bug, and then you zoom out. There's no fucking way you can see that with your own eye, right? So I'm like zooming in on shit that people don't even. It's like I'm looking at Whoville, blowing my mind. Anyway, so I was walking around and I was setting up my camera, and I'm like Vincent van Gogh. This guy would take his entire setup, his chair, his pastel or his oils or whatever he used, his palette, his canvas. He would carry that stuff around with him, and he would just walk around the countryside waiting for creation to speak to him. And then he would set up, and then just paint. And I was like, man, that's what I'm doing right now. Felt awesome.
Yeah.
That's super awesome.
Have you got into the macro yet, Trav, with your camera?
I just did a video on that last night. So check it out. I put it actually in the chat. I put it actually in the Iron Realm Skype.
That is when I fell in love with photography. When I started taking pictures of insects, and you see, I took a picture of a snail, and I could see not only the black pupil of its eye, but the blue ring around it.
All right. No, I haven't.
When you start seeing these things aren't bugs anymore.
Right.
When you start seeing every little intricate detail of them and their shell and how beautiful and perfect, and just, every insect, aphids, grasshoppers.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, that's the whole thing, man. That's what I'm saying. Like even Dr. Seuss was dropping it, right? Horton Hears a Who. You've got entire universes, and then you back out, right? That's what I was trying to convey in my video that I made. Like, you look, if you go outside wherever you are, and there's like, say, a neighborhood, and they've got trees and whatever, then you just look at your wide angle view that you've got with your own 55 millimeter eyeballs. You can see things, but you can't see that leaf over there on that branch, and you can't see the aphid on that leaf. But I can.
Diffraction.
I can.
Diffraction doesn't allow you to.
I know, fucking A, man. I'm going off on that shit right now on my channel because I'm looking at stuff right now, and it's just like I know that what we've talked about in the past 5 years is what it is, but like the more and more I'm looking at what I'm looking at, and then thinking through the science of it all, I'm like, oh, I can put this with this, and this makes sense now if I go at it this way. I'm like thinking like, okay, now how can I make this video?
Angular resolution, baby.
Oh my God, dude! Look, I'd really appreciate it. Go and check out my 2 rants. I did 2 rants on superior mirages, and I actually talk about diffraction in those 2. So I'd appreciate any feedback from anybody out there.
I'll go check that out. Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you, Travis, because I've been screaming diffraction since 2016. Well, I can't say screaming because I quit making videos on it. I did probably 10, like 30 videos.
Yeah.
on perspective alone, but most of them are on diffraction, probably like 20 on diffraction.
Well, you can almost say the same thing so many ways.
Exactly. And then
That's exactly what I said in my video, Walt. I'm like, I'm making these videos and I'm saying the same thing again and again and again. I'm just trying to figure out how to say it so you guys actually, not you guys, but how people out there will go, oh, I get it now.
It's so hard to do with this. I got that with Jaron on a few Globebusters back when we went through. Did you see my calculator one I did?
No.
I call it the RLOD, Angular Resolution Limit Over Distance.
Oh, yeah. I listen, give me a link to that again or whatever, because I remember hearing you talk about it here and then I forgot to go watch it. So was it a Globebuster episode?
Yeah, I just showed the calculator. I mean, I did this years ago. I wrote the.
Yeah, I know you're ahead of us, man. I know I'm trying to catch up, bro.
But yeah, I'll share it with you. And then there's some examples. I actually did my own live stream too, showing it. I've been doing live streams instead of making
Speaking
videos.
of Globebusters, that guy that Jaron was talking about, that what was his name? He wanted to try and bring on
Achilles 7.
Achilles 7, yeah.
Amazing.
That guy does some really great stuff.
Yeah, he's doing luminary stuff, but he had a 14-inch telescope. So yeah, he was getting Jupiter, but it was really neat because he was getting like footage really close to what NASA was showing us. He's like, dude, this is what we're getting for $22 billion. He's like, this is ridiculous. Give me $20 billion and I'll give you way better quality than what NASA's giving you. Yeah, and he was all into space. Like that was his thing. He was like an astronomer. And then he started seeing stuff that didn't make sense, and now he's a flat earther.
Is he what's his channel?
Here, I'll go get it and drop it in the chat.
Because I just did a video last night. I just did a video last night because I was thinking about the diffraction that we're talking about, space. And so when I was out on my walkabout that morning, I was taking pictures of roses and other flowers. And then I would zoom in as far as I could go right before it crossed the line from being able to focus because it was too close or whatever. And when I took the out of focus pictures, I was looking at them like, man, that fucking looks like the out of focus space imagery that they used to show us, like from the early years of photography with space. Like everything would be out of focus. You know what I mean? Like I could zoom in on a Christmas tree with lights, out of focus it, take a picture and go, look, here are some stars I took pictures of. Because it's out of fucking focus. You don't know what the fuck you're looking at. It's like that black hole that that came up in the thing, the first image of a black hole, right?
Yeah.
And then it could be anything that you just, if you focused it, it would be like a cigarette or it would be something else. And I was just like, fuck, man. Like all they're showing us is out of focus stuff that's in our world, right? And then saying, well, you can't see this far with your gear. We can go up into space and zoom out. And it's insane.
They've already unsubbed me from his channel, and I just subbed to him Sunday.
Who? Oh,
Achilles 7, and I'm having issues finding the channel now. It's crazy.
Thank you, YouTube.
You guys are the best.
You guys keep it clean. Thank you so much. I would hate to have all those saved people that I wanted to go back and see again cluttering up my.
Okay, I found it. Jeez, oh jeez. No, this one says no videos. Wow, this is like a fake Achilles 7, and what? Has nothing on it. It looks like a troll channel. He does a lot of motocross videos too. I was going through his channel and I just kept having Redbud memories. Motocross racing. You've never been, man. Those are some fun weekends. No, I cannot find his channel. Thanks, YouTube. You're the best.
Are you back, Andrew?
Maybe not.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
All right, man. Lay it on us, bro. You got us waiting.
Oh, Liz found it. Thank you, Liz. It's in the chat over at YouTube.
I was like AFK like very slightly. So the thing I was also going to bring up was the guy that Austin Whitsitt debated in Modern Day Debates. The guy's name was Delcuse or something like that. And then he was also on Trouble in Tribune's stream. And that's what we were basically, or I was going on there to go through some of his nonsensical type of arguments. And he brought up how ants can count their steps based on MRIs. And is completely stupid. I looked it up and tried to like prove what he was talking about. And even Ruhif was like, yeah, I have no comment on that. So does anyone have any comment on how ants can count their steps?
Never heard of such a thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, this guy, Del Hughes or something, is a robotics engineer. And I'm not saying he's stupid. I've said this multiple times. But when he brings up a point like that, you have to bring up some sort of information about it. But he didn't do anything about it. So,
well, is that no different than talking about how bees and birds can relocate back to where you displace a species or whatever, right? You take this bee, you tag this bee, and you move him to Saskatchewan, and then he comes back and lands in his hive, right? Like, how did he do that? Did he count his steps? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just like maybe lazy speech, right? They're not counting their steps, but there is something that ants can fucking do that, like, they know how to get around and get back and blah, blah, blah.
I saw I watched many nature documentaries, and there was one a few years ago talking about the way certain ants in the desert, I believe it was, use the sky to navigate their way back to their nest. I'll have to go find it. It's been too many years ago. It seems like it may even been an Attenborough type thing, which puts it in a little bit of a suspect area now for me. Too big. But yeah, ants are pretty freaking amazing in their whole, like, I think they probably really are the secret runners of the world, not the squirrels. Oops, shh, don't tell nobody. And their technical
Squirrel
abilities, the way I love squirrels. What are you talking about? I welcome our furry leaders when they overrun us. But definitely ants could possibly be counting their freaking steps, man. They're really insane with their organizational skills, their technical, like there's deserts that are hundreds of degrees, but inside these big tall ant mounds, because of the way they're designed, it's even 72 comfortable degrees for their babies. And yeah, it's pretty nuts what they can do.
Okay, I'm not saying that ants are unintelligent, but he was saying that we can use MRIs, which is like a type of magnetic radial imaging, to count how ants count their steps.
Okay, well, hold on. But see, you're equivocating what we're doing with what the ant is doing. Like, excuse me, Mr. Ant, are you counting the way I am? No. You know what I mean? So it's like you're using the
a soldier doesn't count his steps. When he's marching. They're all marching in unison. They're all going to the same place and coming back, but they're not counting steps. They're just going.
Okay, what I'm getting at though is this is a robotics engineer who's also a Globie who is using that with an unequivocal argument towards, I'm not even sure what.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Right.
Yeah, welcome to their insanity. Right. Yeah, Ruhif was even like, that's too crazy for me, bro.
Yeah, go back and watch the stream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would just ask him to provide evidence.
What is neurons in the ant's brain are able to create an internal map of the nest position in relation to the ant's location. The researchers were able to deduce that ants count their steps by altering the length of their legs. They glued tiny bristles to their legs, giving them stilts so they would gait, so their gait would increase. Reversely,
What?
they remove parts of the legs on other ants, so their steps would be smaller. They then
Remove parts of the
hypothesized that
leg.
if ants count their steps,
I
the
want to be the
longest-
I want to be the anesthesiologist that puts the ant under so that you can do that operation.
Oh,
What
that
the
is
fuck, man.
horrible, dude.
That's like new space
Hey,
lettuce right there. That's
now
BS
you know
out
the
of
rest of the
BSville.
story.
I can't even let you finish that. That's so ridiculous.
Oh,
We were out burning ants, and we thought, how could we torture them even
how
worse
can we
than
torture
this?
them a different way?
Let's cut off half a
Yeah.
leg and add a stilt.
I don't
Oh
want to
my
be on that
goodness.
stilt detail.
And
though.
then
Can you
and then
imagine the
look at that,
tiny
guys. Look, I mean,
toothbrush you use?
yeah, but think about that. You actually have studies and researchers researching that bullshit.
Millions and
Oh,
millions
this is
of dollars.
Cambridge. Oh, this is straight
Yeah.
from Cambridge. This is legit
Mm,
research. I'm not making this up in any
No, I
way.
get it. I get it.
One
I'm
of
just
my
trying to figure out.
favorites
Yeah.
is the how dung beetles reproduce while on cocaine. The effects of cocaine on dung beetle reproduction. $2 million grant
I'd read the
a couple
fine
years
print.
ago.
I'd really read that fine
No,
print.
no.
Make
See,
sure it's the dung
the
beetles.
researchers were on cocaine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doing the research on the dung beetles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all where you place the comma.
Now, okay, listen to this question. This broke my brain. And this was BCB, Brian in chat, a little while back. What language does a deaf person think in if they were
Right.
born deaf?
That's a great question.
That just broke my brain.
That's a great question. I was wondering that about infants too. You know what I mean? In terms of their cognitive ability, like when they're looking around, like what the fuck? Like, is it just like? You know?
That goes into another question that I heard someone say a long time ago. What does a deaf person call the sun?
Yeah,
Well,
what
but
is-
see,
I mean,
yeah,
what's
but see, the
going
thing
on in their
is,
brain?
right? But see, the thing is that they don't have any primary. Are we on a break?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
coming. Yeah, hold up. Yep.
Hold up, and we'll start discussing more physical handicaps, including deafness, blindness. Who knows what else?
And terrorization.
That's right. Mutilization, maiming of the ants.
Leaders must understand the fact that there is both good and evil. It's part of the life scenario to understand good and evil. And however you wish to describe good and however you wish to frame your ideology of evil, there are a lot of ways to put it. For some people, evil is too strong a word. I don't know. This is part of your own philosophical conclusions that you have to come to in trying to evaluate this earthly struggle. Evil, good, tyranny, liberty, sickness, health, winning, losing, life, death, opportunity, tragedy. It's part of the life scenario. And part of it is described in rather philosophical terms on a fairly higher plane called the Great War Between Good and Evil.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure. And it fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having heart trouble again. So I placed another order because this was the only thing that ever worked. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a great product.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey everyone, it's Mark Sargent from Strange World, broadcasting live every Tuesday evening, 10 to 12 Eastern, 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on True Frequency Radio. Strange World covers a wide range of topics, from enclosed world theory to lunar waves to the end of the world in film. It's basically doomsday with a silver lining. With the audience as my co-host, we take an optimistic approach to all things conspiracy and promote confidence, hope, and humor whenever possible. If there's a topic you want us to cover or a guest you would like to see interviewed, please email me at msargent23@comcast.net. So please join me and tell your friends about True Frequency Radio, the leader in real radio programming, bringing you quality, cutting-edge broadcasts from around the world.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The noise wasn't quite as bad, and we went right on up, and I saw darkness. I thought I was going to see the world, but we weren't quite high enough.
You're a liar!
And welcome back, where everything is really loud. But it is the fourth and final segment of the Ironworx on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. And I love how folks just keep on rolling in as the morning progresses.
So what were we talking about? I tried to hold on to it and I lost it.
Deaf people.
What is it? Okay. Oh yeah. Oh,
What
that's right. Yeah. So even though Andrew's question is a profound one, right? You would have to find someone who's deaf who has no exposure to anything and say, what do you like, you can't even talk to the person because, so it's like, we all don't have not one of us has an original thought per se. We've always been told what a thing is. You know what I mean? Like we've been out on our own and looking at flowers and thinking about things, but that's always based on what we've already been told. So I don't think that we could ever get to the place of saying, well, what would a deaf person think that the sun is? He already knows per se because he's already been told what it is by language and just by communication, even inadvertently,
I think they give everything its own name like we do. That just broke my brain, wondering, not like just your conscience, that little voice that
right
talks to you.
Yep.
What is it? How does it work?
Okay, the time that I heard that was through a movie called Way of the Gun, and it was a girl who I can't remember her name, pretty famous actress, and she was pregnant and she was going to have to give her baby away to some millionaire for money, and she was really sad about it, and she said, well, what do deaf people call their baby? What do they call the sun? And that's it broke my brain trying to think about that.
Well, we also have been joined by the one, the only, the myth, the legend, Alex Michael, conspiracy music guru. What's going on, brother?
Shut the front door.
Stop that now.
How we doing today, man?
I'm awesome, mate. A little tired. How are you doing, man?
Oh, loving life. Sun's coming around again, so it's a good day.
Oh, you're lucky, man. It's pissing down here.
Yeah, rain's good, though. It's good for the garden.
Oh, totally, bro. I love it when it rains, but I mean, I'm confined to the house in front of the laptop, hence joining the call. But I can't be in the garden. But when it's pissing with rain, I'm like, oh, my totes are all going to be full up by the end of the day. I love it.
Oh man! So what do you think? What is going on inside the head of someone who is born deaf? I mean, their conscience. How do they communicate?
Oh my God, they must be seeing a completely different reality to the rest of us. I mean, how do you even? I mean, I don't
Hold
know.
on. Let me put this out there just real quick, just to say it. This would be interesting for someone who is a filmmaker to create a film that's seen through the eyes of a deaf person who's always been deaf, and they had to create their own language, but you don't know what's going on in the movie. That's just how the movie starts. You're in that world. And then as you go along, you're like, holy fuck, I'm in the head. It's like being John Malkovich. Like you're watching the movie as the person in a first person view. And then you're like, okay, like you're trying to figure out the world. You're like, how, like, oh, that would be amazing.
Dude, that's a great idea. There's a movie out there that I saw maybe 20 years ago called Momentum, I think it's called, or Memento.
Yeah.
Yep. The eyes of a guy who has short-term memory loss.
Right.
And all the scenes are in like reverse order, and it's really difficult to watch because you're watching it through the eyes of someone that has short-term memory loss. And it's really difficult to decode. And in fact, there's a cheat on the DVD, I remember, where you can actually watch the movie the correct way around because all the scenes are back to front, like, and really confusing, as if you were watching it from the eyes of someone that had short-term memory loss. So I think that's a great idea. I don't think there's a movie that exists that shows the world from the position of the person with who's deaf.
Except for the movie Children of a Lesser God, but that was also spoken and whatnot. So it wasn't directly, but if you remember, what was her name? Marley Madsen or whatever. She won the Academy Award. She was the first deaf person to win an Academy Award because of her acting in it. But yeah.
Marley Matlin also starred in What the F Do We Know, I believe.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Which I think was the first place I heard of Dr. Emoto's work.
Yeah. And if you had the new, what was it? The Rabbit Hole edition? Was that what it was called? It was like 5 DVDs of all the extra stuff that didn't get put in the theatrical version. You could put it in and make it do the quantum version of the movie, which meant it would just kind of create a new movie by interplaying all the different parts from all the different
That's
speakers.
amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Have you guys seen Slacker?
Oh yeah, that's like early '90s stuff.
That's
there,
like
right?
I think it's actually the late '80s.
Was it?
But yeah, just a quick history, right? So Kevin Smith of the Silent Bob.
I was thinking he was involved getting that going, but I know he wasn't.
No. He didn't exist until he saw Slacker. He goes to see Slacker and he's like, holy fuck, I want to do this. And then he started making movies. But my point was, in the very first scene of Slacker, the writer-director, Richard Linklater, is the first
Linklater.
character.
That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember it well. It's just been too long. I can still see the guy on the cover with those glasses and his hands in his pocket. And I used to love Linklater. He's one of my early. I love him.
But anyway, so he's talking about these universes that we create with our thoughts. Like when we make a decision, we have a decision to make. We actually make both decisions. Right. And so then there's another trail that goes off into that direction in that dimension. So like he's just talking about his decision either to stay at the train station or get into the taxi. He's like, I got into this taxi. Who knows, if I had waited back there, some cute woman, in a convertible could have stopped by and said, hey, do you need a ride? He's like, fuck, I should have stayed at the train station. Because that happened.
There's another movie like that. Have you heard Sliding Doors?
I haven't watched that, but I have.
That seems familiar too, Alex.
Is that?
Yeah,
is there?
It's the same premise. It's this kind of butterfly effect. Like if you hadn't, done this specific thing at that specific point, your life would take a completely different turn. So it's from that premise.
Yeah. I saw that year. That's been a while. Like that's got to be '90s too, huh?
Yeah,
I'm trying to look it up. Yeah. Well, '98.
Every decision
I remember that. Yeah, Paltrow and I saw it.
every decision you make, your thoughts create reality. Every crucial, well, not necessarily crucial, every benign decision that you make can lead you in a completely different direction, like the butterfly effect.
Right. Well, Linklater, he did a movie called Waking Life where he really explored. Yeah, dude, that movie was. I'm getting chills just thinking about that movie.
Man.
It's so good.
Cliff
so
in chat
good.
had mentioned it just recently too.
Yeah. When I saw that, I watched it just consecutively for the next couple, maybe once a week, maybe every other week. I'll watch it again. Honestly, I will. It's just amazing.
Just make the right decisions, people.
Right.
I got a question for the panel here. We might have talked about this Friday, but me and Cam have been watching movies a lot, and we watched Peggy Sue Got Married, I think it's called.
Nicolas Cage and Kathleen Turner.
86, yeah. Jim Carrey's in that movie.
Is he really?
Yes, it's crazy.
Wait, was Nicolas Cage in that one? I know Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, he's Kathleen Turner and Nicolas Cage were the high school sweethearts.
Okay.
Well, she's at her 25-year reunion. She goes back in time to high school. Okay, so if you had that opportunity,
yeah,
would you take that?
Absolutely.
What you know now.
Yep. If I could take what I know now, yeah. If I took what I know now, yes.
Now think about it. How is your life right now, Trav?
My life's, well, I would say it's pretty lowercase amazing.
Exactly. So would you trade what you have right now, possibly?
If I knew what I knew now?
Totally different, though?
Yes. If I knew what I knew now, yes. I would have more time to do it again.
You would never meet your children, possibly.
I don't talk to 4/5 of my children right now.
I know.
Listen, that's a story that's gone. Like that, I might not.
This is what I'm getting at. It's all about people's.
See, this is the way of the Jedi, though, Zach. The way of the Jedi, right? The way of somebody who's disengaged. Like I don't have that connection anymore. I don't stress about the connection with my kids. I don't cry about it. Like, what can I do? I can't do anything about it. If it comes back around, great. So, that's just where I'm at. Good question, though.
Yeah, I think it's all just timing thing. Because right now, I love my life. It's like it's been a fairy tale since I went out, since I took my first step on Walkabout. It's just, there's been a lot of bumps here and there. A real big bump recently. It's still, coming down from.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I will say about what your question reminds me of, and I got to this point last year sometime, thinking about my life. Like, I would not be the plain truth if I hadn't gotten divorced. There's no way I would have had the time to commit to what I've done in the past 5 years. So there's no way I would ever give that. There's no way I would ever give that up. You know what I mean? So I had to get divorced.
But now think about all the lives that you've changed.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get it.
Throughout your life.
Yeah.
And the things that you've said, I mean, not just recently, but throughout your life to change other people's lives for the better.
Hey, absolutely.
You give that up. I guess it's all, I don't know. What about you, Andrew? What do you got?
Well, I think there's a lot of other flat earth ladies that are out there probably saying the exact same thing, that are probably looking to meet a nice young man like Travis and myself that are
shameless
interested.
Plug.
Well,
did you guys see my first comment when I came in? I didn't say, "Is this a dating stream?" I said, "I came here to kick ass and kiss beautiful women," and I'm all out of kick ass. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Well, I wasn't at the last Flat Earth meetup that Karen did, but I did watch it online, and I did see a lot of single ladies that were walking around, and I was like, wow, these are not unattractive ladies at all. So, like, I really, really need to be at the next one.
Las Vegas, baby.
I'm going to be there.
A little less conversation, a little more action.
And even if they're not single, I would still like to give you a hug and be very cordial with you and be very polite. That's all.
So, Alex, what about you? If you had a chance to go back to, 18-year-old Alex just before you graduated high school with all the knowledge you have in your brain, or in your soul, I should say, right now.
Well, firstly, let me correct you that I never graduated from high school.
Yeah, no worries then. Hey, good for you. Less indoctrination, the
Right.
better.
We're asking you
Not
if
a
you could
place
go
for
back.
smart
Would you
people.
graduate now?
Do you know what? If I could go back with the knowledge that I have now, absolutely, I would go back. And when you say, like, you might not have the same children and you might not have the same wife. Well, if I know what I know now, then I know how to find my wife. And I would meet her again and I'd fall in love with her again. But I've touched a lot of people with my music over the last few years. And to do that over again with a longer time frame in front of me to touch more people. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, Zach,
Yeah.
your point is valid. You have a valid point as well, right?
Mm-hmm. So as I, raised my child and my stepchildren and thought back on things I went through at the ages they went through them, and you offer wisdom and you offer the time that you've had since those things happened or similar or whatever, and having had this major wreck that disabled me and just like knocked me out of life for 3 years basically, really altered my existence like hugely in many ways, negative, not great. But had that not happened, I wouldn't have had the time to do the sky explorations I was doing when I saw what I saw happen with the moon, which led me to Crow's videos, which then all of a sudden I see all this flat earth stuff pop up, and now look at us all here having this blast. So do I regret the wreck? Do I wish it hadn't happened and all that misery and literally coming close to dying and all those things? No, because then this wouldn't be here and I would not have. And well, maybe it would have happened anyway, but maybe it wouldn't have. And would I know the things I know now? And would I have hit that rock bottom place to then ascend from again? Because I think that's part of the path too, that whole tearing down and building back up. It's painful. It sucks when it hurts the people around you and you and all that. But I think that the person that grows back from those destructions, if you will, is so much stronger and has so much more wisdom to pass on to somebody who's probably not going to listen. And that's what it really boils down to, is if you did go back and talk to that younger version and say, hey, don't go out tonight, that guy's going to rear end you, or hey, don't go to whatever party because you'll miss whatever. Would that person even listen, even knowing that you're who you are? There's some commercials, I don't know what they are, but it's like that. A guy's going like back and seeing his older or his younger self or whatever, and the younger self's just like a little dick, like, a little asshole to him. So, that idea of going back and imparting some great wisdom to yourself.
That's called
you
the Adam
probably wouldn't
Project.
even listen to yourself. Wait, what is it?
Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, that was a great one. Yep. So yeah, I don't know. That idea is something I've toyed with often with some of the things that have happened to me in life. But again, I wouldn't have the beautiful family I have, the amazing children that were resulting from the things I learned in that path of trials and tribulations.
Well, one of the visual depictions of what you're talking about is my first tattoo was on my left forearm, and it was my ex-wife's name. And I had it in Greek because her name is Melissa, which means honeybee. So that was my first tattoo. So when we got divorced in 2018, I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do with this? Like, I don't want this. So I found two different pictures that my daughter had drawn in church. She drew this little row of flowers and she drew these two honeybees. So then what I ended up doing was I ended up having the artist cover my ex's name with dirt. And then I planted the flowers and the honeybee above it, so that it was a depiction of life after death.
That's awesome. I like that.
I got foghorn leghorn on my calf.
That was your first one?
Yep.
My first one was supposed to be Calvin and Hobbes, and I just never did it.
Never got a tattoo.
I just got a new one a couple of weeks ago when I went and visited Milwaukee.
See anything spectacular from there?
Oh my God. Have you not been watching my channel? I'm just kidding. No, yeah, absolutely. I've made a couple videos. The first day I got there, well, actually the second day I got there, I walked for 5 hours. I'm not kidding. 5 hours, noon to 5, and I was taking pictures the entire time. It was amazing. You know what I'm going to put in? I'm going to put in.
You had gone live, but I missed the live stream.
Look, Sherry Ives in chat has you all beat. Me too. My little wrist tattoo. I had my eyeliner tattooed. Come on, boys. Let's see your bravery. Eyes open, needle buzzing. No way. No fucking way. You are way braver than me, lady. I couldn't do it.
I stumbled across in Milwaukee the Pabst brewery, and I've got some great footage from that, but I'm going to put in my one from it. I think you guys will appreciate it. I'll put it in the chat.
I've always liked a good PBR.
Well, you'll like my opening scene from Pabst when I put it in the chat.
I see you in chat, Nuka Cola. What's up, brother? You are always who comes to mind first whenever that little discussion of, well, if you didn't do these things and that led to the life you have now, who would you have not touched and whose life would you not have made a difference in? And my friend, you're the first person that always comes to mind because you reached out to me on my channel really early on, struggling with Flat Earth and your girlfriend. I remember it all, my buddy. I do. So thank you for reaching out. It has touched me in ways I can't even explain, as I'm ineptly doing right now.
I'd be real curious what happened to all those other flat earthers that you were going to get together with. Are they all still out there flat earthing? Or are you
right? That group of people over there? I know, right?
The lone voice now.
But he's still there, still raging strong. Come hang out with us again, sir, soon.
So, if that's right, when we make a decision and it splits off and then another reality is created whereupon the opposite of the decision we made is also made by asking us if we would go back in time with the knowledge that we had, knowing that we might not have what we have now, aren't you also then creating that without even giving us, without even consent? You've created a reality whereupon we did it whether we wanted to or not.
My brain hurts.
Yeah, that's like a paradox, isn't it?
You're damned if you do, and you're damned because you did.
It's like my first marriage.
But let's come back to reality, though. We can't do that. We can't go back in time. And we have what we have. We have the journey set out in front of us, and we just have to make, in my opinion, just the right decisions with the right intent.
But somebody in some alternate universe, in an infinite number of universes, somebody somewhere is going to have time travel. Somewhere, somebody, that is a decision that needs to be made. And because now we were presented with that decision without our consent, but how do you get consent?
Dude, this is fucking Narnia talk, bro. This is we might as well be talking about the globe here because it's just like so out there.
Yeah.
Now, there's a reason I brought this up.
But go ahead.
This conversation that we just had cannot be had by some people out there. Walt brought this up last week.
Right.
Some people can't imagine something that isn't. Yep. They just can't.
They have no concept of what a hypothetical thought is. Yeah, it broke my brain finding that out. That broke my brain almost more than the people who don't have an internal voice, because I can.
So what
that.
are
Those
they
are
on the
NPCs.
spectrum?
It isn't. No, not apparently not. That's really not it. It even talked about intelligence level is not part of it. IQ or any of that. It's just it was. I'll share it for you here in a second. I have to dig it up. It actually may be the story I shared in the show description.
Because it's almost like someone who's on the spectrum who doesn't get social cues, right? He just doesn't pick up on that stuff, right?
Right. Well, the conversation that they used was the example of like, what if you didn't eat breakfast this morning? Well, but I did. Yeah, but what if you hadn't? Yeah, but I just told you I did. That kind of thing. It's like, what are you?
That's what I'm talking about. That's like Sheldon on Big Bang, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There you go. That's probably. Oops, sorry. That's probably it. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to make all that noise. My bad. Here, turn that off. Okay. But
we
definitely.
Have 4 more hours in the show, right? 4 more hours.
We can go. Why not? Josh, you can call in, right? I see Austin missed 3 days, so you can miss 1, right?
Shout out to Kaylee. Hope she gets better.
Yeah, for sure.
It's probably not.
All right.
An overreaction to wanting to lose some quick weight easy. But an appendectomy is never a good thing.
No, brother. Yeah. We were sending lots of love and support, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Scary thing. I was glad to see that Sunday morning, you guys were already on your way out. That was, yeah. That was the first I'd heard of it was Sunday morning. And the good news had already come. So I was, but we were sending, get better vibes and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, so glad to hear that everything went well and all that stuff. Brother.
So,
love you, Austin.
Austin and I made a comment on his show. It's like,
well, we're about done, Trev. We got very few seconds, so
all right.
Just letting you know.
Yeah,
love y'all.
about 20. Thank you guys so much. Friday, we have some plans. We will finalize those plans between now and Friday morning and let you know fully all of them. But as of now, it's definitely going to be an interesting show. And like I said, more details to come.
Yeah, it's already going to be a good show, regardless of what happens next. I think with what we've got already is going to be a good one. And it's going to get only better. Go ahead.
Every animal says, I am Groot. Walt's cat just went meow. That's his or her. I am Groot. I am Groot. Every bird song.
Well, Travis broke our brain. Thank you, Travis.
Travis, nice to put a voice in the name, man.
Alex, you're the best, man.
Love you guys. We'll see you back here Friday morning for more of the Ironworks right here at Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Be good. Be well. We love you. Bye-bye.